Hey, welcome to my channel. So I haven't seen the unedited, uncensored version of Part 3 on Peacock yet. I'll probably watch that later on in the week or something like that. But watching yesterday's show, Part 3, I gotta admit, I'll say this. Um, Ariana, uh, definitely, Ariana has definitely got some serious restraints on her, or she has some serious willpower. Um, Honestly, most women, when you see your lover, your husband or spouses or partners, lover or mistress, most women go right after them and like throw something at her. But she was just brutal and lethal with the words. But I thought for sure she would have gone up. Not once did we see her get up, which is really surprising. That shows that she's not as ratchet as I want to say it. The other person that was at the other end of that thing, at the other end of that section, she just kept getting up. She was the only one that was not getting up. Katie, there was no reason. Why would she get up? There's no reason for her to get up. She should just keep her mouth shut. And the fact that she was going after Schwartz, I don't know. Granted, Schwartz kind of deserved parts of it because now it's looking more and more like he even said himself, like, yeah, I told you guys, I told him basically he should have not done this. But again, let's not forget he's been closer friends with Sandoval than all these people. He's been closer friends. He's been friends with him from childhood than all these people. Yes, he know what he if he knew he was wrong, he should have basically called out Tom Schwartz, and Schwartz should have called out Sandoval. It was like, hey, Sandoval, and say, hey, look, what you're doing is wrong. You've got to do something about this. You've got to break it up with Ariana. Then, if you're going to do this, break it up with Ariana. But you're cheating on her, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Raquel, whatever you want to call her, even though she says it's a nickname, but in reality, we know that she legally changed her name. And the fact is, like, oh, it's a nickname like Lala. I'm like, if you change your name legally, and honestly, like, here's the thing: you don't put your nickname on your employment checks, on your employment application form, right? So she did that. So it was Raquel, not Rachel. If it was legally Rachel, then it would be on there. But the fact that she had Lisa Vanderpump calling her Raquel means otherwise, that it's Rachel. Anyways, to the point. I'm streaming only because the fact is like I made a resolution to myself that once a week I'd always stream live once a week about anything of the topic of the nature that I want to talk about. Today is a case of like the VanderPump Rules Reunion Part 3. And again, back to Rachel in the situation where you could see that she was like emotionless. There was like almost no emotion. It seems like supposedly someone said she might have a learning disability. As growing up as a child, she had a learning disability and all that stuff. If that's true, it's possible. I don't know, but it seems like it because things that were being said and such, even in part 1 and part 2, you could see she was not being emotional. It was only when it's affecting her per se, or more of, yeah, if it's directly at her, then she becomes more, or for tedious things, she becomes very emotional. We saw her in the dressing room at the end of part 3, in the reunion, in the end of the dressing room. She was pretty much, I can't deal with the blah, she was just breaking down and crying. I'm like, what the? And this is because of her. And then they go off and start laughing about it. And then the fact that James said, like, hey, how she thought, like, Laura was an upgrade, or not Laura, Allie was an upgrade to her for James. And in that situation, yeah, it was. And it's interesting, like, everyone's rallying around each other using the common enemy of both Scandival and Rachel, aka Bambi B. Anyways, it was interesting, and you could tell it was so, like, everything she was saying when she first came on, it was so well scripted, so well coached that it was funny. I'm like, oh, this is just well too scripted and coached for her. Basically, like either Sandoval went with her, or two, she used her PR people to like, I need to know what I need to say exactly to this, and she probably memorized it. Because like the fact is, there was that moment where she said, "It's too much. I got to take a breath." I'm like, basically, that's her basically trying to regurgitate a speech, something memorized, and she just needed to take a breath because she was trying to get it out as quickly as possible before she fucked it up. Sorry for the language, or screwed it up basically, and such. So that was her basically. This is scripted. She memorized it. When people take a breath like that, it's like, oh, I'm talking to them. In reality, that's because she's trying to get it out as quickly as possible because she memorized it as much as she could, and she didn't want to flub it at that point. So that's the whole thing basically. Let's put it at that. That's normally what people do at that point. It's not a case of like, I need to take a breath because I'm talking a little too much. No, it's more of a case of like she didn't need to take a breath to like take it all because like no one was talking at that point. She just kept talking and she was going through her spiel. So that's it on that aspect. Sandoval, him crying. Again, an act. That's a pure on act. He's trying to make sure that he doesn't look like the bad guy. Again, even at the end of the series, the behind the scenes, like 6 days later, which honestly I'm quite disappointed. But 6 days later, Rachel's basically says like, yeah, it happened in Cancun, which was a given. It happened everywhere. Like, it wasn't a one-time thing. Like even though Sandoval said it's only a one-time thing and only recently, blah. And the weird thing is James was saying, like, why does he keep saying one-time thing? Why does he keep saying that? In reality, I think feels like James was aware that there was more than one time basically. And honestly, did Sandoval take us for idiots? Seriously, Sandoval is taking us, the viewers, as idiots? Because, and the fact, when I heard about this, there's going to be a bombshell. Looking back at it, I'm like, when that after program show 6 days later thing, when she's like, yeah, we were screwing in the house, we were screwing in we were banging in the house, we were banging the day of the funeral, her grandma's funeral, Ariana's grandmother's funeral. They were banging in Cancun and multiple times everywhere. Honestly, that's a given. I think we already knew at this point. The question is like, why that was no bombshell? I thought something else was going to be a bigger bombshell. Like if Sandoval was banging her while she was engaged to Kennedy, that would have been a bombshell. Quite honestly, I thought for sure maybe that would have been it, but it wasn't. So honestly, I don't know what to take of it. But in any case, Kennedy saying that, why does he keep saying that multiple times? Is it because he was hearing the rumors about this, or to the point of like he had some inkling and he was aware, like, you know what, she probably banged him a lot more, and maybe there's a possibility that she might have told him a little bit or something like that. I don't know. But in any case, actually, I think Lala called it as well. Lala figured it out as well too. Like, it's like, why do they keep saying it so many times? Even though one time is too many. I don't know why Sandoval kept pushing that point or trying to push that narrative of like it was only one time. That one time, after when her dog died, and such. We already know Sandoval's a liar. Scandoval's a liar. We already know he's a liar, pathological liar. He is a pathological liar. He tried to save face. It didn't work. It doesn't work. Quite honestly, he was trying to push the narrative onto Ariana. It's like, it's her fault. This is the reason why I went to her, basically, because we weren't like intimate and such. That's on them, basically, at that point. That's on Scandoval. Honestly, he's scum in this case. I just say it. He is scum. Guy couldn't admit to anything. Honestly, quite honestly, even this is the best part. Even Lala was saying, is like, you know what? Even though they were screwing during that time, she feels that emotionally, he was cheating on Ariana, and being close with Rachel much earlier. And even Rachel said at one point or another, like, yeah, there were cases where, like, we got more into it, which means they were like pretty much intimate prior to this, before that first bang. So that's why I'm like kind of curious, like, when did the emotional aspect of things come into play? And the fact that Sandoval's like, yeah, he's in love with her. That's bogus, of course. I doubt that's the case. I think it's more of a case where he's got a fangirl, and even they call it basically like, you got a fangirl following you guys, basically. It's pretty funny though how Schwartz tried to divert the conversation about the open relationships, going back to whatever her name was. I forgot the name. And that situation is like, this is probably where that rumor started about them being in an open relationship. And taking the heat a little bit away from Rachel. I can see what Sandoval was trying to do is more of a case for like trying to protect her a little bit as well too, and protect Tom a little bit. And I was like, why, dude? Why? It made no sense. I mean, after the statement that Sandoval made, which was like, even Schwartz was like, what? He was like, his head was down. If I'm Schwartz, I hear that, I'm up, I'm walking. I'm like, dude, I can't believe you just said that. Where basically, when he was having sex with Ariana, she was wearing Rachel's t-shirt, and he thought it was hot. I'm like, what the? Honestly, that I don't know what to think of. I have no idea. If I was Schwartz, I was like, dude, even though he's like, dude, that was like, no. And he's like, I know. And Sandoval even realized, I was like, why did I say that? Schwartz should have just got up, walked, and I was like, dude, that was just like hitting below the belt and like such a dickish move that it was like, whatever. I'm surprised he didn't do that. He should have done that. Honestly, I thought maybe Schwartz would have made some stupid ass remark, trying to lighten up the mood from that remark. Unfortunately, he didn't. I think he realized, like, oh, dude, I can't even say this. I'm not going to respond to this. But in any case, that was the most out of the three parts of the reunion. That was the cringiest moment ever. And I'm not going to. This is the one thing I'm like a little pissed off on. The hypocrisy that goes on with these people is not funny. So when they brought up the point of like, Lala and James basically cheated on Randall at the time, as well as with Rachel while he was dating Rachel. They're like, well, it's in the past. It's in the past. Yes, but you still cheated. And you did it without her knowing, basically. And it was one of those things where like, they're like, well, it's not the same. You're right. It's not entirely the same. But at the same time, you still cheated. Had James told her, like, yeah, I cheated on you with Lala, I think the thing would have been broken off a long ass time ago. Not to say no. Let's just say like she didn't deserve it. Rachel didn't deserve it. But these two people, the hypocrisy on these, and the fact is like, well, I was 25. He was bringing up his age, 25. It doesn't matter the age. Why do the people think of the age? That the age is a matter of factor. Like you with all this stuff. It's like it doesn't matter the age. You have an affair at 21, 41, 31, 51, or even 71. It's still wrong. And don't say, oh well, I'm too young. I don't know. My God. Where did you grow up in? Where did you grow up to? Where having an affair is like acceptable. Where did you grow up to know that having an affair is acceptable, or cheating on your spouse, or cheating on your significant other, or cheating with your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be, is acceptable? Where is that acceptable? It's not. So the hypocrisy of James going at it is that is circumstantial to the point where like even the fact where he's like saying it was like, well, why are you focusing? I know I'm that entertaining, but come in, I can't. I was glad that Lisa brought him in place. Like you're not, and he was like, he still he's full of himself at this point with his head, but at the same time, Lisa, I could see what Lisa's trying to do. Lisa Vanderpump. It's more of a case where like even Andy was saying like for the 10 years that you've been out, we've aired. And Vanderpump has been on air. This is by far the most damaging of them all. To the point of like, even he thinks like, you know what? Sandoval, Schwartz, and Rachel are not going to be in the show. So like, what's the purpose of this? Like, Lala. What's the purpose of having Lala, Lala, Katie, and Ariana on the show? They're no longer associated with Sir or Vanderpump. They're not. The only person that is at this point right now is James because of, Tuesday dance, whatever it's called, whatever that crap is called. Because the reason why you get Sandoval and Schwartz is because they're still partners with Lisa. And so, hence, Ariana and Katie. Sheena, technically speaking, she there's no reason for her to be there either. She doesn't work at SUR anymore. She has no association to Lisa Vanderpump in the show, basically. It's just the fact is like they're all far removed from it. So there's no reason to have a Vanderpump Rules show. Outside of the fact of Peter Madrigal and, Rachel. Rachel was still waitressing, but she's gone. She may or may not be there. Who knows? Only people that are there left are like Peter, pretty much. I don't want to say secondary characters, but it seems like it. You're not bringing back Jax because he's not working there. You're not bringing back Brittany because she doesn't work there. Kristen, Stassi, they all don't work there at that point as well too. So what's the purpose? I think even Lisa's realizing now. I think Lisa realized that if Schwartz and Sandoval aren't there, there's no show at this point. You can't call it Vanderpump Rules. The only thing is you can now revolve around her and her husband. But at that point, it's like no different from Real Housewives OC. So there's no purpose to that. If she tries to go the route of the Kardashians and the Osbournes, and whatever other family members that they're pushing out there, like the Stallones are now on Peacock. I'm kind of curious what that looks like. Anyways, if she tries to push that off, she knows it's not going to work. She knows her establishment with these workers were what made it. The only best bet I can say for her is move on from SUR and go to Pump over in the two Vegas properties in Paris and I think in Caesars too. It looks like it's at Caesars because like when I was in Vegas a week during Memorial Day weekend, I saw the ads for Pump on Caesars. So I'm pretty sure it's on Caesars as well too. So, but if it's only in Paris, then just have it over there at the servers in Caesars. I mean in Vegas on Pump, and chances are their servers are probably much more interesting because it's Vegas, of course. So it's got to be more interesting then. You can have more interesting stuff going on there at that point as well too. To be quite honest. Sorry, this is just one of those things where I'm not sure where Vanderpump Rules goes from here, because like you even saw like the disrespect that Lisa got from James and Lala. The thing is, for James, I don't think he needs Lisa at this point. He's got his own DJing career going on. It's growing now. Seeing some of the TikToks and Instagrams seems to be getting bigger and bigger at this point. So I think he's on track to grow. Lala, I don't know where she's gonna go. I could see her, maybe Ariana and Katie, as well as Sheena, trying to push Bravo executive producers to spin off the show to something completely different to these guys, to these four. And maybe James Kennedy, number 5, pushing him on to those 5, basically. Though I don't think Katie would like Sheena. Sheena would like Katie, so we'll see. I can see something about her. I mean, I can see the show name being called Something About Her, quite honestly. I could see that happening, Something About Her. And, being involved around the sandwich business, Lala having some stake into it, James doing something, Sheena doing something, but whatever it may be, who knows. But with it, I do find it interesting, though, is like, James and Lala asking for an apology from, as well as Katie, asking for an apology from Rachel about the affair made no sense. Now, I can understand Sheena for a bit, because the fact that Sheena had her back, everything, she had her back. And, she was ride or die for Rachel, similar as Ariana. But she didn't really sleep with Brock. Rachel didn't sleep with Brock. She slept with Ariana's man. So she didn't affect Sheena directly. Indirectly, yes, but not directly. So I don't know if the apology was needed for that perspective. It was more of like Ariana is the one that she should have been apologizing to and been remorseful about, which I don't know. It doesn't seem like she was. She was just robotic and didn't care and just like regurgitating whatever memorized lines that her PR gave her, basically. But from that, I'll say this. Sorry. Uh-oh. Sorry, I just got to log into something very quickly. Into my work laptop. Sorry, I was logging into my work laptop. Sorry about that. In any case, I gotta say this. I was never a huge fan of reality TV. And it's funny, the merch that Lala got for her stuff about talk to Randall's lawyer or something like that, and she made serious money out of it. That was used to basically put a down payment on her house that she put for was like $1.4 million. It was all through social media. It brings up a point of kind of wondering, like, during the earlier years of reality TV, like Real World, Road Rules, even Survivor, had social media been around then, would these people that have been, got their minutes of fame extended that out even more and like built on top of that? I think possibly so, to be quite honest. With the TikToks and Instagrams out there, if they were available back then, I think we would still be hearing and seeing some of these people at this point. To the point where, like, that's why they're having these real world road rule reunion shows, trying to build up on it, trying to build up a nostalgia, and then garner a new set of audience members, Gen Zs and younger millennials. But I don't know. You're seeing like now, celebrities going on to like YouTube, posting on YouTube and TikTok. You're seeing people on YouTube now posting videos or quote unquote podcasts at this point as well too. I'm doing that as well too, not for the fame part, for more for the money aspect. If I can get money out of this, will I do this as a full time? No, honestly, this is more of like I just like to air my opinions, and more often than not, actually, it's not actually. I shouldn't say it's the money, to be quite honest. Honestly, I don't really care about the money part. I think I like this for medium because I get to interact with people. I like talking to people. I like interacting with people. I'm not a people person, but I'm more of a person that likes to interact and talk with people. I like to listen to their stories as well too. I would love to hear their stories and their opinions and like converse about that. Quite honestly, I kind of miss those days. When I was in group setting and during the period of what's that called, COVID. During that isolation period, it was like, all right, you got to do Zoom calls, but like you don't want to bother people at that point. Whereas you're in the office, those water cooler moments, you can still converse with people and that stuff. Yeah, there were certain subjects that were taboo, like office and politics. But there are times where, not office, religion and politics. But sometimes, politics would come into play and you would have no choice but to talk about it a little bit. Or sometimes a little bit of religion, but you rarely ever delved into it. I tried not delving into that. So that's why I don't really talk about religion as much, but politics, if it's just too much out there, you have no choice but to say it. This is the thing where, like, I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't a huge reality fan. And the only reason we started watching this is because my wife was watching it, and then she started talking about it. And then I started seeing some of these shorts about this. I'm like, what's the big deal? And I see it, I was like, why does this resonate with everyone? Why does this resonate with everyone? I don't know, but I could say this. I could see why it resonated so well in Bravo, because it was under their eyes. It was right under their noses, basically. Not under their eyes, under their noses. These two were having an affair. The producers were kind of having an inkling of what was going on, but I don't think they saw it. I think they were seeing a situation of what was happening with Ariana and Tom, as what Tom and Kristen was dating, and Ariana was getting into the picture. I think they were inkling like, okay, it looks like history's repeating itself. And on reality, James, Rachel, and Lala. James for sure pretty much banged Kristen just to get on the show. Lala, I'm not sure how she got on, but whatever. Honestly, these are people that are just. I hate to say this, but it's not something that I'm too keen on watching. Not too keen on following up on. I think I'm growing tired of it. I think I'm tired of this crap with VPR. And you can see like Jax and Brittany coming back into it because like they need that. Jax needs that fame, similar to Tom, similar to Lala. I bet you if like all this stuff went away for her, she'd probably like try to find some other show to get on. Similar with James as well too. Ariana, I don't know about. Katie, probably the same thing. She'll probably latch out to someone just to be on the show and be, like interesting at that point and everything like that. But I don't know. Outside of that, I don't know what to say. I don't see any chats coming in. I know I'm live and it's been almost about 25 minutes. I'll just cut it off here. Once this becomes permanent, the video, you're welcome to leave a comment in the comment section. I do read my comments. I do respond to when I see or when I warrant a response, and I do get notified. Also, at the same time, if you want, you're welcome to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you do like my content, like my videos, or like my channel, I ask you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And also welcome some feedback. I love some feedback from you guys. And also the other aspect is too is one of these days I would love to do a go live together type of thing and talk with people about some whatever topic it may be. Could be about Vanderpump Rules. Could be about some other reality shows. Could be about sports or tech for that matter. I would love to, like I said, love to converse with people about it. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and of course, unrehearsed.